What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? We need to change that right there. That ain't the lick, y'all. We're gonna change this live on air, baby. That ain't the lick. That's old. That's old as dirt. Old as dirt. There we go, baby. That's the new one. This is episode 2 of the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate and love everybody. And can't wait to get into this one because this is going to be a special one because we're going to be doing some special things here that I think you guys will appreciate. Giving you a peer beyond the veil, letting you look at how we're doing some things, you know what I'm saying, and talking about it on the back end, right? That's what it's all about. Full transparency so you guys get the latest and greatest in gaming news. As far as cloud gaming is concerned, we really don't want to, like, even when we do this, the goal isn't to pin one platform versus the other. I think there's enough for all of the, they all have some great offerings. Let me see, I can't find the scorecard. Don't look like I might not be showing y'all anything if I can't find the scorecard. Come on. Don't do this. Okay, so I gotta go in here. Excuse me for a second, y'all, but again, this is the Cloud Gamer Chronicles. We have to break things down for you so you can see how we're going to be doing this as far as gaming content is concerned. And this is just going to be an example of our scorecard. I want to just talk to you guys a bit about it and use this prior week's worth of content as an example. However, Excel is not working with me right now. They're pulling some crazy stuff, which is really upsetting. Here we go. Why isn't this even pinned? Beats me. Okay, so because I need to see that. All right, so we got the scorecard up. It's just something that I need to be able to see. Oh, come on, don't do it like that. Well, you know what? That's okay if you do it like that. I'm gonna put this up top, and then what we're gonna do is make this bigger. This is a whole bunch of stuff y'all can't even see going on here, but it's for my notes and purposes and things like that. Here we go. There we go. We'll bring that down just a tad. Whoa, my God. I tell you that, y'all may think I'm just trying to be mean towards Microsoft because of Xbox. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Microsoft products have become worse. They've really become worse. I mean, I get it that they're more lucrative under the structure of Satya, but they've really become worse. Okay. Like, this subscription model of stuff really doesn't focus on quality. And it's upsetting. Okay, there we go. All right. Excel's never been this bad. And now I got to pay, the 365 subscription in order to have Excel, which I'm really not a fan of. But that's here nor there. All right, nevertheless, we're here. Cloud Gamer Chronicles. Those 3 platforms are Amazon Luna, GFN, and Stadia. And once again, the purpose of this is not to pin one platform versus the other. This is merely to say, look, here's how we rank these platforms for those of you that are cloud gaming aficionados or those that are interested in the cloud gaming. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I get a lot of pushback a lot of times from my content brethren where they say to me, hey, look, something fell in here. Let me switch something up here. Let's fix something to make sure everything's okay. And y'all getting buffering? No, you're not. Okay, all right. Just wanted to, no, everything should be all right. Okay. I'm gonna set this up here though, just in case. All right, so when it comes to cloud gaming, a lot of my cloud gaming brethren they don't understand, brethren and sister, and they don't understand what the uses of a cloud gaming community. They think that if it's not part of the regular gaming community, that it's not even, that it's going to fizzle away and it's going to die. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. And that's because a lot of people that are vocal about spreading their thoughts about cloud gaming, that particularly don't do that, have either revisionist history or they just were too young to understand the detail. Like a lot of people that are fanboying for PlayStation right now, they weren't around when the original PlayStation 1 was out. They weren't gaming back then, they just simply weren't around. Period. They didn't see the trials and tribulations they went through in order that details how Xbox lost $10 million. Walk to Twitter, argue amongst themselves, and then you create the dynamic, the blind leading the blind. But cloud gaming is structured the way that it is because it's not popular yet. I want to take a particular quote that I've seen here on Twitter, and I want to show it to you guys. Let's see if I can find it. I thought it was great. Let me see. Oh, shout out to the homie Dust Cloud Gaming. And I gotta find this tweet that I just sent. Oh, there it goes. Alright. Let me copy this and let me bring it over here for you all to see on the big screen, because I think this is going to be really relevant to our discussion. Alright, let me show you something. So this is a tweet. Let me make it bigger for the people in the back. This is a tweet that I responded to. Shout out to the homie RJVXP on Twitter. He took a excerpt from, I want to say this is GameIndustry.biz, and this is a quote from somebody at GameIndustry.biz. I'm not quite, I can't remember. I remember reading this article, but I can't quite remember who the quote was from. And the quote says, the biggest complaint most developers have with Stadia, I think this was from Tequila Works. I think this is when Tequila Works went and did that interview with GameIndustry.biz. The biggest complaint most developers have with Stadia is the fear is Google is just going to cancel it. Nobody ever says, oh, it's not going to work or streaming isn't the future. Everyone accepts that streaming is pretty much inevitable. The biggest concern with Stadia is that it might not exist. And if you think about it like that, that's kind of silly. Working in tech, you have to be willing to make bold moves and try things that could fail. And yeah, Google's canceled a lot of projects, but I also have a pixel in my pocket. I'm using Google Maps to get around. I only got here because my Google Calendar told me to get here by giving me a prompt in Gmail. It's not like Google cancels every effing thing they make. This is tech. The default state is failure, but this is cool and could really change things. Wow. That's a powerful statement. Shout out to RJ VXP for pulling that up and reminding people of that. Yeah, cloud gaming in particular. Let's keep it focused on cloud gaming. Cloud gaming in particular is not as big. It's only like a 2% business. It's not as big as normal gaming or regular or, preempted gaming or whatever you want to call it. Oh, excuse me. But its rate of growth is fantastic. It's a 49% rate of growth. It's expected that it's going to be an $8 billion business in 2027. I think that its rate of growth is faster than VR at the moment. If I have my numbers right, I should have my numbers right before I come to the airwaves with this, but I'm just, Just trying to make contrast here. So it's growing rapidly. And it's just going to take some getting used to. And these cloud platforms, they understand that. So what are they doing? They're not doing what Xbox did. Remember the aforementioned $10 billion that was lost at the as a result of the previous 2 generations? Or the original 2 generations? They're not going to do what Xbox did. They are going to go and they're going to make sure that before they make a leap to the big stage where things get really risky, they're going to try to carve out a lucrative lane in the cloud gaming space. So they're going to operate small and expand to something bigger when cloud gaming becomes more acceptable. Now we know who in all likelihood is going to make cloud gaming acceptable. It's going to be Xbox. Perfect. So the name of the game is, for the most part, is for these smaller cloud entities. When I say smaller, I mean they're new and they're unique. Yes, Google is a rich company. Yes, GFN is a rich or Nvidia is a rich company. Yes, Amazon is a rich company. But Luna is not a rich sector. Nvidia Geforce isn't a rich sector. GFN isn't a rich sector. Stadia isn't a rich sector. They don't have the lineage, the partnerships, the net worth just for those individual sectors that Xbox had. Shout out to Clive and Linden for pointing this out. My spiritual advisor, all things Stadia. So it's ridiculous. It's absurd for any of those platforms to try to compete in totality versus Xbox or PlayStation, who has lineage and who has value that just can't be matched overnight. You're going to have to build yourself up. So this is a build-up phase. It's a build-up phase for all of them. Now, we get it that after Xbox originally hyped cloud gaming, what I'm talking about, I ain't got to sell you a console and all that. Xbox hyped it, and Google was the first one that stepped on the stage when it came to cloud gaming, and they stepped on the stage quite boldly. They stepped on the stage and they said, look, we're going to be a sole cloud gaming solution. And that's still a notion that has to gain popularity. But it's a solution that, regardless of how you look at it commercially, it's a solution as far as technology and what's in your hand wise that is definitely working. It's working so well that even though in totality for the average gamer, maybe Stadia doesn't give you the biggest bang for your buck for the expectation of the average gamer right now. But it definitely does some key things better than definitely 8th generation consoles and even 9th generation consoles. 9th generation consoles that are asking you to pay $300, $400, $500. That doesn't count the endless peripherals that you're going to need for storage. So yeah, it's going to take some time for people to get used to this notion of, look, I can game in the cloud and I can do it very well. While we are waiting for that notion to get more broadly accepted, it's indicative of these cloud gaming platforms to carve out their lane in the more niche but still profitable market of simply and solely cloud gaming. They can't compete against an Xbox or a PlayStation yet, just because their offerings have yet to be socially accepted by the average gamer. Now, when we showed you with initiatives from our good friend that we've done in conjunction with our good friend Dark 1985, that when people get it in their hands, they realize what they needed before they even had it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you need the things that you need, you don't realize until you got it. That's what he said, and that's the truth. But with that said, still, until people get it in their hands, or until people just realize without getting it in their hands, it's going to be a niche product. But it's still profitable, so that's fine. So what we wanted to do is for those of you that already know whether this product is for you, or if you're trying to make the decision of it being for you, we are going to have like a scorecard mechanism, and it's going to work in various different ways. Various ways that won't be confusing, trust me. I'm just saying that right now because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. You know how you got to deal with the swiper. Stop swiping. You got to deal with that dynamic. So I'm not going to say too much right now until we're ready to pull the trigger. But what I will say is that this is going to work in a multitude of ways. And the way it's going to work is going to revolutionize how we look at these different platforms, for one. And for two, make it very clear for you which of these platforms might benefit your user case. And it may not just be one. When we do this scorecard, it's not to say this is good and the rest are bad. Even though when you look at the scores, of course, they're numbers. The numbers have a chronological order. So you're going to have one number that's higher than another. That's just a measurement as far as reaching certain litmuses based upon the particular scorecard that you're looking at. That's just telling you that, hey, this is the gap between you hitting everything out of the park and where you're actually at. That's it. It's not to say, well, we want to create a score, so this one looks better than that one. So it's basically to say, look, everything that you're aiming for, when you do it perfectly, you're going to get 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But this is where you're actually at. This is the gap. And let's talk about how you can close that gap. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. All right. So with that said, let's start off with some articles first and foremost. I want to start off with Amazon Luna. But before we start off with Luna, let me do something. Okay. And then we got to do this. Except that I got to keep doing this. Okay, there we go. All right. So, I have a particular scorecard. I'm going to talk about the scorecard. I have a particular scorecard that I'm presenting right now. This is just a mock-up. This is just a dummy scorecard. Let me see. Can I switch it? Yeah, maybe if I turn this on, that would help. Right now, I'm going to switch it so you can watch some gameplay. All right, so I have a scorecard that really is I'm going to personally use. We're going to tweak it, but I'm going to personally use it for all of the cloud platforms: Amazon, GFN, Stadia, xCloud, Shadow, PlayStation Now, whatever else are of the relevant platforms that we feel here at Cloud Gaming Chronicles. Cloud Gamer Chronicles, excuse me. Now, we have a variety of different litmuses that we're measuring here. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And those are just the litmuses for cloud gaming specific litmuses for people that know what cloud gaming is, have experienced it, understand what the benefits of it are, opposed to daily device gaming, and they're all into that type of product. There's other ratings. There's going to be like at least I want to say at least another 5 ratings, another 5 set of ratings that's going to create a weighted score that takes into consideration. All right, what is the draw in from the average for the average consumer? Now again, Because cloud gaming is a niche product that is not socially accepted at the moment, across the board, those litmuses are going to be somewhat low. With the caveat that as time progresses, if these platforms are making the proper trajectory forward in the right direction, they will close that gap. So they're going to start off small. The numbers are going to be low, but they'll increase if they're making the right moves, not only to make your stake within the cloud gaming community, but to make it, to make inroads, starting to make inroads to leapfrog into the bigger gaming space altogether. But right now, the most important thing right now, while we're in this early phase, is looking at it primarily from the cloud gaming aspect, with an understanding that there is an importance of working towards going to the bigger stage. So this is a very thorough process. We have people that have committed to including their thoughts in this process. This is going to be some serious stuff. And the reason why we do this is when you use scorecards and rating systems like this that are even across the board, it helps curb bias. Everybody's going to have bias, like I have bias. Everybody knows that my personal platform, let me just put it out there, my personal favorite cloud platform, let alone my personal favorite platform, so that makes it even worse, right? My personal favorite cloud platform is Stadia. So because that's the case with me, it's going to be indicative that my bias is evened out by the litmuses maintained. Because the things that I like about Stadia are important to me, but they may not be so much important to somebody else. What may be more important to somebody else is something that Amazon excels at, or something that GFN excels at. So that's why there's so many key litmuses here, that we look at the trajectory of what cloud gamers are looking for. Where we looked at what all of these platforms are good at doing, what they need to get better at, and we've analyzed those. We've taken some time to do that, and we've created a set of litmuses that A, evaluates their worth in the cloud gaming space, B, evaluates their worth, when it comes to closing that gap between just being a niche cloud platform and a platform that's more socially accepted. Okay, and hopefully that all makes sense. All right, so let's continue on. First and foremost, we look at the game catalog and the game services that are being offered by each platform, whether it's stuff that they had prior, and then we look week to week as well, as far as what have they offered week to week. Then we look at the tech. There are things that are tech related that we're looking at as well. And then out of those derives our score. Our score, I'm going to say, as far as a cloud platform is concerned, you're going to want to be for me personally, something that I can recommend, you're going to want to be in the 3s on higher. Now, again, my score is not going to reflect everybody else's score. My score could be, let's just say and this is 3 out of 5. Okay, your score is going to want to be 3 out of 5 or higher for a recommendation, right? Let's just say my score for Stadia, for instance, is a 5 out of 5. And for GFN, it's a 1 out of 5. The next contributor score could be, upside down. It could be 5 out of 5 for GFN, 1 out of 5 for Stadia. And that's how this works. And again, that's what keeps the reporting honest, the news honest, because when we shake it down and we break it down and we have our discussions, it's what keeps the discussions honest, content honest. When we do that, we're using something that, again, keeps the bias to a minimum by creating litmuses that help define what's best about each platform, along with where they need to get better at the most, okay? But before we get there, let's talk about the news in general. Let's get to the news, all right? So I just explained that. So, let's do this here. Let's talk about Amazon Luna first. Hold on, what's going on? Why is... That's weird. You gotta switch that up. Properties. I see what happened. I'll see what happened. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell? What is going on here? This thing does not want to work for me at all. Can you stop, please? Oh, my goodness. I swear to you, what's it called is acting up today. What is wrong with, woo. Jesus. OBS is cutting a fool today. Oh my gosh. All right. Bear with me for a second, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get this centered. That in a good spot. Oh. I'm so sorry. There we go. I think that's okay, right? That'll do it. Alright. Jeez Louise. Put you over here. Alright. So, Amazon Luna. There's two stories on Amazon Luna. I'll deal with this one first. Amazon Luna now works with more Android devices, including Galaxy S21 series. This is reported from 9 to 5 Google. Shout out to them. It's been a couple of months since Amazon's cloud gaming platform made its debut on Android. At the time, it was limited to only a handful of recent Android devices, but now Amazon Luna has expanded to more devices, including the Galaxy S21 series. In a tweet this afternoon, Amazon confirmed that Luna has expanded support to nearly 3 new devices. Those include the S21, S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. Before today's announcement, Luna was already compatible with the following devices. And it says this is the first expansion Amazon has had of Luna support on Android, but it's still within the same set of the brands as before: Pixel, Samsung, and OnePlus. As before, Luna on Android works with Luna controller or Bluetooth controller and runs through a web app in Chrome at Amazon.com/Luna. You'll still need an invite to try out the service. That's not entirely true. This is why we're here. This is not entirely true, but this is why we're here. Lordy. You'll still need an invite to try out the service, as well as $5.99 a month subscription or Ubisoft Plus. Okay, so here's the deal. You don't necessarily need an invite to try out the service. If you have a Fire TV product, you can sign into Luna right from there. If you're in the United States, that is. So if you're in the US and you got a Fire TV product, just sign up to Luna and you're right in. Without that, waiting for the invite, the infamous invite that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just get in that way. Okay. So the unsuspecting gamer is not led astray. All right. Now, with that said, very interesting take on that bit of Luna news right now. Then we got another piece of Luna news, which I think is more prevalent. New on Luna, Get into the medieval state of mind and flex your skills in an immersive open world environment. Play Kingdom Come Deliverance by Warhouse Studios with early access now. Yeah, I think this is great news. This is great news. That's a great game. That is a fantastic game. It's older, but it's still a great game. Won many awards, with Steam awards, I believe, and stuff like that. So this is a hell of a game, and this is a great get. This would be, I don't know if this is available on GFN. This would have been a great get on Stadia. You know what I'm saying? You don't have Skyrim, but this would have been a great get to get like the Skyrim type vibe. You feel me? So, but it was a great get by Amazon, and it really adds value to the $5.99 service, which we're going to talk about GFN's news later. We know that the Amazon service is going to go up in price once they get out of this preliminary beta period. And the question remains, are the games in there good enough right now to warrant paying for them? Excuse me. That's a question that a lot of people may have. It's only $5.99, so people may be able to digest it at $5.99, but at $10, I mean, when you look at what's available, what's starting to become available in Game Pass at the same price, again, that's who you're competing with. You're competing with Game Pass and xCloud. So when you look at what's available in xCloud, for the same price of, to be honest with you, no, to be fair, you got to pay $15 to get access to xCloud, which is a lot of people don't realize you can't, So right now, it may not be that big of a whoop to do, but when you look at the fact that at $10, maybe the lineup, maybe some people would scoff at that lineup. It's good to see games like this come there. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see games like this come there. So, great get by Amazon Luna. All right. Now let's go on to GFN. GFN had a slobber knocker week of news. They talk about approaching 10 million members and rapidly approaching 10 million members, and some things that they're looking to do. So they talked about accomplishments. Well, first and foremost, the monthly subscription model is going up to $10 a month. Okay. Or an annual membership of $100 a month. So if you buy it a year, you save yourself $20 a month. That's if you're not part of the Founders Program now. Where if you're part of the Founders Program now I like this. If you're part of the Founders Program, you get grandfathered into the Founders Program. Meaning, as long as you never miss a payment, you are grandfathered in either at the $5 a month, which is what I'm paying, or the, what is that, the $25 every 6 months or 3 months or something like that? I can't remember what they were doing for the bundles. Was it 25 every 3 months? I got to talk to my son and see what it is. But you're grandfathered into those plans. And I think that, ultimately that was a smart thing by NVIDIA to sit there and say, look, we have to think of a way to increase our revenue while at the same time not alienating our people that are, that have helped make the platform what it is now. Because, founders are valuable. Founders have been the ones that they have been the ones that add to your AI and your machine learning. That send your product along. And if you think about it, yes, there's a lot of R&D and development that goes into this right now, even though you're charging people for it. And you may not be out of the red, but in these early years, that should be expected. You're getting some money back. You're getting some players, because you see the ultimate prize is getting a solidified place in the cloud gaming community. And then after that, being able to buck against the big boys. So your first year or two with your base streamlined service, being in the red, not too far, not too deep in the red, but being in the red should be an expectation. Because you're doing research and development, which the gaming community is helping you do. See, as long as you're not in the Xbox first 2 generations red by billions of dollars, you're still getting people to pay for the service. They're still buying things. And GFN's case is even more crucial. This is where I say, I'm going to give a kudos to GFN. You know what? I might even have to change my score a little bit. You see, game. Let me see which litmus. Game catalogs, style options. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this particular one to, games release. Okay, I'm gonna have to come up with another litmus. Right now, I'm gonna change it a little bit. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm not gonna tell you what litmus it is just yet. Again, because we gotta deal with the swiper stop swiping. But I'm giving, it's gonna create a significant boost for GFN. GFN. I will say this. And this may not be a popular opinion. This is my opinion. And I'm not saying that I have data to support this. When I think about it off the top of my head, it's something I definitely want to research. When I think about this off the top of my head, I am willing to bet that NVIDIA is more in the hole with GFN than Stadia is, than Google is with Stadia. Here's why. Hear me out. Here's why. Both models require you, and both models are very contingent upon you, or success is contingent upon you getting into their subscription model. Stadia definitely wants you to get into Stadia Pro. GFN definitely wants you to get into, the GFN paid service. Become a founder and pay some type of subscription fee every month, right? But here's the problem for GFN. That's GFN's only revenue stream, is that subscription model. Hence, a lot of people have been playing on GFN. Most people, as far as analysts are concerned, most people that have been playing GFN haven't given GFN a penny. They haven't given them 1 red cent. Because they want to play for an hour and they go about their business. When it comes to Stadia, even if you don't adopt Stadia Pro, you still can buy the games. Even when it comes to Ubisoft Plus, if you subscribe to Ubisoft Plus via Stadia, I'm pretty sure there's a partnership where a portion of those proceeds go to Stadia, but the vast majority go to Ubisoft. If I sign up for Ubisoft Plus and I play my game solely on the free tier of GFN, GFN doesn't get a dime. Stadia has so many more revenue streams than GFN that I'm willing to surmise that GFN is more in the red than Stadia is right now. But they're both in the red. They're both in the red. But that doesn't make one platform better than the other. It's just that they're both in the red. And the reason why I brought that up was not to dog GFN, but to actually praise them. And praise them in this regard over Stadia. This isn't a zero-sum game, so even though I'm saying I'm praising them over Stadia, this doesn't make Stadia's offerings bad. But out of all of them, I want to praise GFN over Stadia, my preferred platform. By GFN saying, we gave our subscription service at a fraction of the price to X amount of people. And we're going to lock those people in for life at that subscription price. Even though that subscription price is more vital to GFN than Stadia Pro is to Stadia. Because Stadia gets paid off of a la carte purchases, and if we look at what's going on with Ubisoft Plus, they're likely getting a portion off of each Ubisoft Plus subscription that is part of the platform. There's so many other ways. Then they sell controllers too. There's so many other ways that Stadia gets paid from what they're offering on. GFN is solely maybe the NVIDIA Shield and the subscription service. That they've even said, we are going to let these people stay locked in at this low, low price. Because here's the thing, people. When everything is said and done, NVIDIA Geforce can't survive at $10. I'm even doubtful that they'll survive at $15. I'm thinking that when everything is said and done, especially when you talk about getting the Call of Duties and the 2Ks back on board, that NVIDIA GeForce Now is going to be hovering around $20. I think within the next year or so, they're going to be hovering around $20. Granted, NVIDIA will lose money because they, it's been analyzed that they're in this because they understand how big cloud gaming is going to be in the future. And they don't want to be lost in the sauce being solely dependent upon dedicated device gaming. So they are getting in and becoming a competitor to their dedicated device, in so many ways. They're getting in that sauce right now while they're getting this good because they understand the apex of cloud gaming and it takes time. This is not, you don't just put transistors together and boom, your cloud gaming service is great. That's not how this works. There is AI, there's machine learning, there's latency, computations and things that got to be taken into consideration. In certain other configurations that it takes you years to rev up to this point. So they're getting in this early. So by the time cloud gaming does become a major competitor, they've already got one of the major sources out there. So they'll still make residual income off their dedicated devices. And then, they'll be in the cloud gaming space too. It's very smart. It's something that I know Blockbuster wished they would have done when Netflix was becoming huge instead of battling Netflix, right? So, that being said, I give kudos to GFN on that. I just currently changed the score. Now, what their final score is going to be, you'll see at the end of this, right? So that's the news for GFN. They have monthly memberships at $10 now. $100 a month has saved you a couple of years. The people that had the Founders Edition rates are locked in, grandfathered for life as long as you don't, stop your subscriptions. They talk about a 2.028 update rolling out to members and available to all in about a week. to streaming quality takes the next step. They really need that. They do. Talk about VSync technology that will synchronize frames at 60 or 59.94 hertz, which will reduce stutters and latency and then they're also expanding servers. This is the biggest part for me, is their expansions of servers, and it looks like that there's one coming close to me in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? North America. Yeah, they need that. They need that because I'm going to tell you where I'm at right now. The stream quality is not desirable. Not desirable. If they get that stream quality up, oh my God, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, but they got to get that stream quality up. And that's the thing to me that I think is holding Geforce back a lot, because it has mostly all of the core offerings. It got a bunch of games. It may not have, some of the big wigs have definitely said no to where with Stadia, they're just not here yet, but they haven't said, oh no. They haven't given up, but they completely said no to Stadia. Like we hear all this talk about Take-Two, and Take-Two might leave Stadia, whatever, but they're still here. But yeah, Take-Two is here. They've completely said no to GFN. So for the most part, they do have a lot of games. They have a lot of great games that people are willing to participate in to the service with. It's a great thing, but they got to get that stream quality up. That's indicative. That's a paramount for the cloud gaming side of it, and closing that gap for, making it a competitor versus daily device gaming. Okay. All right. Last but not least is Stadia. Stadia had its blog this week where they let me see here. Okay. So NBA 2K21 is coming with a free weekend, which I got some thoughts on that. Dragon Quest was shadow dropped. Golly. FIFA 21 released on the platform to much praise. And Terraria, the controversial Terraria game, the game that's very big though, is finally on the platform as well. So let's talk about NBA 2K21 first. I had the game. I bought it when it was $10. And I played it the other day for my first look here on for you SDON members. It didn't play well. Now I looked at the stream after the fact, and the stream was a lot smoother, but on my end there was a lot of hiccups and stuff like that, and I was frustrated with 2K because they weren't updating rosters. It's just some janky stuff going on, so I lashed out. But hopefully it'll get fixed. I don't know what the hell was going on my side, and hopefully it's addressed before this free gamer weekend. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what held it up. Let's see. When is this? Oh, yeah. So now you can play it free now if you got Stadia Pro. And so maybe that was what was hanging it up. Maybe so many people were playing it that I don't know. Maybe the performance was poor. The performance got strained on the game. Maybe that's what it was. Well, somebody got to tweak that. That's not a good look. You got to tweak that. I didn't even think about that. Horrible. But then Dragon Quest 9 stealth dropped. I'm going to be picking that up soon. FIFA 21 dropped, and people are saying that it's native 4K 60. It looks great and fantastic. 9 to 5 Google, who we know now, particularly as of late, ain't the biggest cheerleaders for Stadia. They said that FIFA 21 is not to be rivaled on Stadia except for by high-end PCs. I think that's amazing. And then Terraria, the big game Terraria, is now on the platform as well. So you're seeing Stadia make inroads of trying to diversify its gaming portfolio. It's getting games on there that people can appreciate. I think there's some people that are upset about Stadia Pro and Stadia Pro not being as robust as it was like Q3, Q4 of last year. But again, it's all about how you allocate your resources. I still think there are good titles that are being presented in Stadia Pro within the last few months. Decent, of course, maybe not as good as Q3 and 4, but that's all right. What we need, though, is we need AAA games. I think bigger than what is offered in Stadia Pro is we need the big ticket, not necessarily AAA, but just big ticket games. We need those to come to the platform at least, and we need them to then eventually, sooner rather than later, come day and date. Like, we need to know that Resident Evil is coming to the platform, Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 8. Even if it's a month later, that'll be huge for the platform. I particularly would think it would be better for the platform if it comes day and date, but if it's like a month later at the most, I think that's okay. What else I think is okay is if, you know what I'm saying, within that time frame, the Stadia Pro games aren't as strong as they are Q4. That would mean that if you're getting more and more top big ticket games over to the platform, that is your priority, and you understand that is your biggest gap to success is getting those games over there. You have people like, I talk to people all the time, and I always use my brother as an example because he's a prime example of how they're reaching out to their target demo. My brother was skeptical of Stadia. He would laugh at me and creating my content. Then he realized Cyberpunk 2077, arguably the biggest game of 2020, was playable best there. He bought 3 Stadia bundles, right? Showing it to me, drove to my house. Well, that's not why he drove here, but made sure that as soon as he came into town, all the way from down south, that he just stealth showed up at my house and showed me that his packages came. Then after he did that, I talked to him a month later and I asked him, like, how's it going with Stadia? And he's like, bro, I'm just going to tell you, the lineup it's not keeping me. Once I got past Cyberpunk, it was like, I already played all this stuff. Like, what else is new? And yeah, there's Hitman, but Hitman is an acquired taste. Like, there's other games, there's big ticket fallback games. That's what I want to say. Big ticket, I'm going to coin that phrase, big ticket fallback games. That when the current lineup is slow, you say, all right, I'm going to lean on the big games that are out there because I know everybody's playing it and this will just be mindless fun, right? And those games are the Battle Royale games. They are Overwatch. They are Apex Legends. They are Call of Duty. Not so much PUBG anymore. PUBG's still a huge game, but not so much PUBG anymore. They are Fortnite. Particularly Call of Duty. Not having Call of Duty, not having Grand Theft Auto. Saints Row is a great game, but you gotta have those big ticket fallback games. See, that's why people are looking past reality. The reality of it is that if you look back at NPD, this past NPD, the top 20 games for February, 10 of those games were multiplats. If you look at it, Stadia has 8 out of those 10 multiplats. They have half of the top games on NPD, which is the largest console market out there. If Stadia is successful in NPD or US and North America, then it's already carved out a lane. So Stadia already has 8 out of 10 of the most successful multiplats on NPD. But here's the thing. That's a snapshot view of what people are gaming on now. Once those games fizzle, and people are like, all right, well, I'm done with that. What am I going to fall back on? The fallback games aren't there. Now, Division 2 is a cool game. Madden is a good game to have. I don't know so much about FIFA. I don't know. NBA 2K, if it doesn't play the way that it did for me, is a decent game. But the major fallback games that get you the respect that you're looking for are the Apex Legends, the Call of Duties. You know what I'm saying? Those are the games that you have to have. And Stadia recognizes they got to get those games. That's what they stated on why they closed down SG&E. And they're looking at, utilize those resources to get more games. And looking at the evidence, I believe them. So hopefully they're successful in that venue. But they got to get the big ticket games. They got to get the big ticket fallback games. Like when people get bored, they play, if people get bored with Outriders, they may not get bored, but if they get bored, all right, I might go back to, I'm going to Call of Duty. If people get bored with Valheim and they're like, all right, I done scratched my itch with Valheim, all right, I'm going to play some Rogue Company. You see what I'm saying? You got to have those big ticket fallback games where regardless if you're past the hype on something, these are the old faithfuls that people go to. And Stadia doesn't have enough of them. They got a good number of them. They got NBA 2K, they got Madden, you know what I'm saying? They got FIFA, but they gotta get more. They gotta get more. And more of them, the majority of them are the Battle Royale games. Gotta get more. Like even Rainbow Six Siege. That's where you got to give it up to Luna. Now again, Stadia has Madden and they have the sports stuff. But the shooter stuff, which are part of the Battle Royale games. Yeah, Stadia got PUBG, but out of all the top ticket Battle Royale games, PUBG is kind of like at the bottom. So Stadia has to get Siege. They got to start getting those games. Okay. And then that'll close the void up as far as people looking at the lineup and going, because when your old faithfuls aren't there, you may say, oh, okay, you are getting Marvel and you're getting Outriders day and date. But without that crutch game there to bolster your lineup, it has a long-term effect. So Stadia, we know you're listening. Hopefully you understand. And don't listen to Jason Schreier. There's a reason why he's behind a typewriter. I'm not trying to be mean, but you guys are who you are because of who you are. Spend that money to get them games. I don't care. We don't care. Screw Jason. I'm going to say it. Screw Jason Schreier. The hell with him. He wants Stadia to fail. He wants it to fail. We want you to get those big ticket games. And if you're willing to pay $50 million to get them, I don't care. I'd rather you pay $50 million to get a big ticket game on here that we know is a serious crutch game, a big ticket fallback game that we know people are going to want to play like a Call of Duty. I'd rather you pay that $50 million to get it here, opposed to spending your money on $500 million trying to create a game that people ain't going to like. That's 10 Call of Duties. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm gonna be frank with it. Screw Jason Schreier. I don't give a rat's ass on what he cares about. And us as Stadia gamers shouldn't either. Screw him. Stadia, please get spend whatever cheese you gotta get in order to get these games. Okay? Because you gotta get them. Alright. So that's it with all of them. Now, let's go and talk about scores. And then we're gonna close out. So when you look at what I think about each game service catalog and the value proposition for those, the roadmap for future games, and stuff that they've put out there and its current lineup, and a whole bunch of other things that are game related. We're going to talk about that with Amazon, GFN, and Stadia. When you look at the gaming situation, let's start off with Amazon. Now, again, like I said, ultimately, you're going to want to be all together around the 3 for us on this platform to say, we kind of recommend that. And when we put all of our scores together, that's, that'll be a collective, voice on what our recommendations are. I'm going to say this, that when it comes to the game situation, I average Amazon's offerings right now at the different litmuses game-wise at a 2.6. I average GFN's game situation as far as all of its offerings as a 3.6. And when it comes to Stadia, when it comes to Stadia, I average their game offerings at a 3.4. Right. So that's including what was sitting in the catalog, what they've talked to us about what's coming in the future, and as far as the value proposition, with their service. I will say that Stadia's value proposition, before I aired this, Stadia's value proposition went up by the fact that GFN's month-to-month price went up. Now, it's a good thing for the stability of the platform altogether, but when you look at paying $10 a month, I got to pay $10 a month. If I'm a cloud gamer, the free tier doesn't do anything for me. Like, if I don't have a powerful rig to play this, it does nothing for me. And again, we're looking at this from the litmus of a cloud gamer. So as a cloud gamer, I can't even look at the free tier. Fathomably, that's how I feel. So I got to look at the other tier. So for $10 a month, just for me to be able to do my cloud gaming reasonably, I'm paying $10. I gotta pay $10 up front to access the platform. And I don't get anything for that off the bat, except for, now Epic has free games here and there, but the free games that come from Epic, I don't think really add to that value proposition altogether. They've had some humdingers in there here and there, but I don't think overall they add much to that proposition. Right. So then you look at that and you say, oh, wow, okay. So now I'm paying $10 just to access the platform, to access the cloud gaming platform. Granted, games are cheaper on PC than they are anywhere else, but beyond that, the value proposition got dropped down a little bit from GFN, or really it boosted up the other value propositions of the other platforms. So that's why in the game category, GFN is higher, but it's slightly higher, because I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, what about GFN has 800 games? Well, you got to take into consideration too that when you look at the big ticket games, I don't think is EA. Yeah, I don't think GFN can get the EA game, so they can't get the Outlook. I mean, they can't get the Apex Legends. They can't get the Overwatches either. They can't get the Call of Duties either. They can't get the 2K games that Stadia has. Stadia has the big ticket games. So, what's it called has some of them too, and then they got other ones that Stadia doesn't have. But what kind of gets balanced out is it's not always quality over quantity. When you look at a value proposition, it's got to be an even kill of quality and quantity. Some people are quality hawks. just like there are some people that are quality hawks. So what we can say is that GFN's value proposition for games is higher, but because they have less access to the big ticket titles, because they've just simply rejected them, and the price went up, that kind of balanced it out a little bit more. Still, it's over three, like we said, in any particular area and overall, anything over 3 is a recommendation. So it's still a great score for GFN, but it's not that gap that a lot of people, you may hear a lot of people speak to, as far as I'm concerned. Speaking from a quality gamer as well. All right. So again, I think those scores were, what were they again? They were 2.6 for Amazon, 3.66 for GFN, 3.42 for Stadia. Okay. Now let's talk about tech. Okay. That's the real big kit and caboodle, is the tech. So when you look at the tech, Amazon is at a 3.2. And the tech, you know, it speaks to stream quality, the flexibility, the types of devices that they're on, and the enhancements that you see, the recent enhancements that you see. Because this is a week-to-week thing, it's very important to see what you have going on right now. Like Stadia this week on the games front had a very strong week. Some very important games came to the platform. You know what I'm saying? Very important games that aren't available on any other platform, which really heightens its value. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily over the other platforms, but its value in contrast. So if you can say, look, I got GFN, but do I have a reason to get Stadia? Oh yeah, because if I want to play my NBA or my Madden or my FIFA, and I'm a cloud gamer, you know, Stadia represents a value to me. Okay. So there you go. And on the same front, Amazon's recent activity, as far as they've really increased the productivity of their stream. A lot so. So their average, as far as technology is concerned, is a 3.2. As far as GFN's average, it's a 3.26. In large part due to its tech roadmap that they introduced. That tech roadmap is big because it shows a lot of self-awareness. Stadia's tech offerings average a 4. And that's in large part due to just the current stream, the flexibility of the current tech. Like we talked about this in our Outriders video. When you go from Stadia on your TV to your phone to your laptop, the quality and stream doesn't degrade. And you can't really say that about the rest of these other platforms. So, with that said, here goes our preliminary scores. For Amazon, our average, unweighted, because we're not considering it, and I haven't added it in the litmuses for the, what do you call it? The litmuses for, you know, the Daddy device comparison. But right now, it's at a 2.9. Amazon, you know, they're getting there. They made investments in the tech. They made a big advancement in the catalog offering with Kingdom Come. A nice offering, rather. But they still just got a little bit more to go before we can really recommend the platform. There's just not enough there in the $5.99 offering right now, even though it's only $5.99. You know, the only way you're going to really get a benefit from GFN is through Ubisoft Plus. And we don't think that's enough. through the Ubisoft Plus channel. That's not enough right now, particularly because the stream quality is limited. Let that stream quality go up to where you don't have the ghosting and the artifacting and the frame dips and stuff like that, along with them also increasing that boost of the data to a 4K. That goes up significantly. GFN's total offerings to cloud gamers, though, we can recommend at a 3.46 overall. Its strongest points are its flexibility on devices, its current portfolio. It has the best portfolio of games, bar none, and the different ways that you can get into GFN right now are significant to its success. You know what I'm saying? Because it has various ways that you can get into it. I think, you know what, I may have made a mistake here. Hold on one second. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Oops, I did it again. Sorry. So really, GFN's I'll say this. I'm trying to think. Yeah. I'll say GFN's total offerings is 3.41 instead of 3.46. Only because it's basically buy a game on PC and you have it on GFN. You get some free games via the Epic Game Store, but again, those, you know, you gotta, and then if you have Ubisoft Plus, that's great. But again, the offerings that come with the subscription service, or your ability to say, hey, look, this is catered towards subscription services, isn't fully there. You know what I'm saying? Like, EA, it's not a model unless the platform is supported that allows you to say, hey, look, you getting a subscription service guarantees you access to these games on the subscription service. Ubisoft, it supports that, and really nobody else supports anything beyond Ubisoft. But Stadia and Amazon, they've set up their platforms to where subscription services across the board are going to be supported. So you got to give kudos there. So I'll say, you know what? And you're thinking about this like, oh yeah, there's a la carte purchases. There are subscription. I mean, by petition, a subscription service would be supported as long as they see, but that's not necessarily true, because you can have a subscription service on, let's just say if EA, okay, so you could have a subscription service, which is EA Access or EA Origins or whatever. And let's just say if EA was okay with GFN, but you could have a situation where every single EA game isn't there. That is part of the subscription service on that platform. Everything that's available on Amazon via Ubisoft automatically becomes part of Ubisoft Plus. Everything that's available, everything that's from Ubisoft on Stadia becomes part of Ubisoft Plus on Stadia. So it's not so much that GFN supports subscription services. It's that Ubisoft decided with their subscription service, Ubisoft decided that with every single game, they were going to support GFN. So if you sign into Ubisoft Plus, you automatically have access to every game on GFN, if that makes sense. I know that's a bunch of bibble babble and all this stuff, but you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no guarantee. You can't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to sign up for XYZ service, and GFN is going to guarantee that every single PC game under that service is available. No. Each game individually has to be supported by GFN, and it just so happens in Ubisoft's case, they decided to do that. All right, but it's still 3.41. All right, and when it comes to Stadia, again, from this member's opinion, it's 3.81. Its strongest suits is the different options that you get. You get a la carte options. You get a PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold option. And then you get a subscription option. It has the most options in its business model out of all of them. So that's its strongest suit, along with the flexibility of the tech. The tech quality, the stream quality, the flexibility of it, the devices supported, the enhancements that we saw. Let me make sure I clarify that. Y'all like, clarify what? Something y'all can't see. None of your business. Nada boo boo. Yeah, the enhancements. I mean, we saw 4K 60 stream. I mean, we saw 4K 60 capabilities of FIFA 21. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So there you go. 2.9, 3.41, 3.81 right now in this week. I personally, on my scorecard, could recommend GFN, Stadia. Amazon is getting closer by the bit. They're making strides in the right direction, so we'll continue to see it. And then I can't wait to show this and really get collectively with the team as we talk more and more about what these offerings are across the board. So with all that said, I want to thank you for joining us for the second episode of the Cloud Gamer Chronicles, the pilot. And we'll have more to come. So definitely check us out. Check out all the content if you're a member. This is available to every member, but if you want to see other content, you got to make sure that you're at least a prescription member or higher. All right. And until next time, more to come, man. There's some serious enhancements coming for PNTS and Cloud Gamer Chronicles, Stadia, Dosage, all that stuff. But that said, we appreciate, love all of y'all. Y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.